So I've added in this little bit here, which is going to check to make, it's going to look at the offset of my current time in minutes, and if it's greater than 20, then we can remove all of those extraneous connections. And that looks good to me, so we can go ahead and start up the back end again. And the next thing that I need to do is on the front end, which is, and if you guys want to play some Hungry Hungry Zombies, let me know, I can get it running. On the front end, if I look inside of my player component, I have this switch case here. So when it's ended, this needs to load the next song here. These only apply if it's the owner. So if it's not this one, then we want to do an else. We want to do this .youtube service .pause. Okay. Additionally, this one won't work unless it's a plain. So this is a request play. That's the same thing as asking for a song state, essentially. Except it's being broadcast out. Okay? On queued, I don't want to do anything. On buffering, I don't want to do anything. But now here on end, I want to have a request next song. And real quick, back here on my YouTube service, when we have a play subscription, I want to say if my this dot YouTube dot player just a second, I look here. I want to make sure that before I subscribe this play event, I want to say if my player state if this dot get player state is equal to YouTube dot player state dot plain, now hold on. The thing about that is the play subscription comes from the host. I don't think you should be able to control that from the player, but you can. So we'll leave it the way it was. Okay? So what I want to do now is on my player component, when we are here, I want to do if this room service application user is owner, then we're going to do something. And this is going to be a this room service request next song. And that wants a song play request. Have I used this anywhere? Request play, song play request. So for this one, we need to have a var request equals a type of no. And this is going to be, it's going to be a new one called DQ next song. which doesn't pass anything, and it's just going to be a DQ next song. Okay, so when we do this, it's going to do a DQ next song on my hub, which is here. And so we're going to have a public asynchronous task here called DQ next song. Hey there, Ben, Ellie. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions what I'm working on, please don't hesitate to pop them into the chat. We want to do this for a room code, right? And then it's going to be a try and a catch. And you want to do var room equals await. You also want to do your var user ID equals await get user ID asynchronous. This is going to be await get room read room. It's in my service dot read room asynchronous of my room code. Now if my room I'm going to do this a little different. I want to do var connection, application user room connection equals await my service dot get application read application user room connection by my context.id. And then I want to do my var application user room. If my application user room connection dot application user room, come on, dot is owner, then what I can do is a var next song equals await my service dot DQ next song queued asynchronous of my room ID and my application user ID. So this needs to be a var user ID equals await get user ID asynchronous, and then a var room equals await your service dot get room asynchronous of my room code. If my room is not equal to null, then I want to get my next song here of my room.id and my user ID. And then I want to say if my next song is not equal to null, then I want to do a receive play which we're going to do on everybody with no exclusion. And here I want to send this with the packet. Here is a song state request, which is going to be a there's no connection ID in this one. The current time will be 0. The player state will be doesn't matter. the song is the next song.song. The song queued ID doesn't matter. So here we need to do a var song equals await my service dot read song asynchronous of my next song dot song dot ID, which is here. And then my player state doesn't matter because that's an integer. My song ID is song dot ID, and my song queued ID doesn't matter. So let's see if that works. Back over here, we should already have that subscribed as a receive play, which is this iPlay response. Hey there, Mexican geek and stuff. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? Deviant1 says, I even tried searching of ban list of American sites. No answer. Oh, I don't know why you would search there. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this. One thing I want to change is when I am creating a song queued here, it says that I already have this stuff here from my YouTube search result. So we're going to check that. And I'm going to open up my browser to the app, and we'll log out and log in. Good. It's going to do a request play here. Which is fine. And then when we get to the end of this video, it needs to break, and it's going to do a request play and get my song state. That was okay. It never DQ'd my next song. This should be is the owner. And this needs to have an alert here, which is going to say,
okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to be building
DQing next song. Okay, that's fine. We go to the next video. DQing next song. It never fired my DQ next song, which is called DQ next song, and it needs to pass in this.room code.
Okay. So what we're going to do
under playlists,
a .NET Core website.
I can remove both of these, and we're going to add in here a Mac Miller self care. And we'll add in here a rock star, because these are just short songs. Well, no, we want to do, we'll do Venom by Eminem. And then we go to the room, and it should start playing this. And it does. You can go ahead and cut to the end of this video. That's the end of the video. So now it's going to DQ the next song here. And we're checking to see if it's the owner. And it is, so we get my room and we get my next song, which is valid. We're going to read the song and then return my new request. And it should start the next song. Now, is there a way to YouTube player disable controls? Hey there, Adam Laz. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? What am I building and working on? I'm working on an app called OpenDJ Radio. It's a song request app. And if I look at my source for this, I should be able to add controls equals to 0 on this onto my URL, right? So in my player, we want to do it in JavaScript. You can set player variables in the second parameter of YT_player. Next video, previous video, setting the size, setting the rate, set loop, set shuffle, set up playback quality, get duration, get video URL, come on. Adding or removing an event listener, on state change. This works fine for me. YouTube player. Which is in here. Right? Where am I creating the player? Here, player. This is where I'm creating it. We should have a player vars where we can do a controls are equal to 1 or 0. And that hides it. The only control I have is pause. So I'm actually kind of okay with that. when you play over here, when you're playing, if you are the room owner, then you're going to do this request play to start everybody if they're paused. Hold on, that doesn't seem right. My backend's not running, or it's stuck somewhere. Yeah. So that is working correctly. So the pausing is working and starting correctly. And if I pause on this side, good, it'll only restart. And then if it gets a play on the other side, it should get my state. So here we should have a else this.roomService.request. What was it where you're sending the request? Hold on. This is telling everybody to play that song request from the owner. And otherwise we want to request it from the beginning. So if I look at where we start my app, second. Because if I look at this request play, that's going to fire my ReceiveSongState. So down here, when I'm doing my unconnected, if I'm an owner, then I DQ it and I receive the next song. Otherwise, I'm getting my channel owner connections and sending a ReceiveSongState request. So we want to have that as another function here, which is a public override async task called a ReceiveSongState request or something like that. And you can do a await ReceiveSongState request. And you need to pass over here a room VM called a room. This is a virtual. Hey, Patrick. No, this is not a public repo, unfortunately. So we're going to say that this is called ReceiveSongState. Or, I guess it's a RequestSongState. So now I can move this up to here. So now I have a RequestSongState and a ReceiveSongState, which means that in here I can have a we need to have a send song state and a request song state. Which is a request a song state, which is a room, and that's all it's passing. And I actually just want that to be a GUID for my room ID. And this is just going to be a room ID, which will be a string. And this is a request song state, and we're going to pass in my room ID. Hey there, Fallen Hope. Welcome. How are you doing today? Like that. So that way when you reconnect here, you can do a request song state. And we need to pass in here a this.roomService.room.id. So now this video is playing. I'm expecting it to update on the other one. We'll stop it. Hey there, Jason4DWin. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions what I'm working on, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. Let's go ahead and start the other video. It should request the song state. That didn't work quite right. If I look here, if my state is plain here, I'm going to do an alert here, which is testing. Hello from Japan, says hello me. Greetings, how are you doing? Fallen Hope asks, have a happy holiday? I did. You guys want to play a game? Fallen Hope? Good, so that worked. I paused it, that worked fine. I hit it, it says testing. It should request my song state here. Which should be over here called a ReceiveSongState, which is this song state request. Hold on. Oh, it's a response here. And then you have a load video and seek. And you're only doing this if the player is playing, so I don't really care about this. We're gonna do a load video and seek no matter what, and I want to do a this.YouTubeService.stop. And if you're going to play, we want to do this and stop it and then request the song state. Okay, that worked. It definitely is loading the video, but it's not starting it. So it's like the double request here is what's making it fail. Now if I pause that one and let the other one keep going, there should be a day 4. If not, I'll fix it. And it should have requested a song state there, but it didn't. And this needs to it's definitely not picking up when it starts, which I gotta fix. Just a second, we're gonna let what is it used to be called? Codeacademy.com? I'm checking to see if these things are syncing, and it doesn't look like that the second one resyncs. I know that that's firing. So one thing I want to fix is here on this thing when we're doing this one. I think I don't need to do this. Well, you do, but it only needs to happen just when it's not the first time that it's playing. Just a second. If I look at the back end, when the hub is running that, I do a request play, it's going to send that out to everybody except for the start to play it. So that means that when I connect, And I'm down here, I'm requesting the song state, which sends it back to that client with the current songs. This goes to my server, which then responds with a ReceiveSongState, sends it back across the pipe, which should be here. Try it again. Okay, so that received the song state and it stopped correctly. And it fired test. Try it again. Okay, now it's working. So we don't want to do this if it's the very first one. That's right. And then if I pause it, and then I run it, it didn't seek up to the right point. Does a database maintain playlists? Mine does, yeah. So it's not stopping. That hit a breakpoint. Yeah, that worked. So it did stop it. And now it's stopping every time, which is good. So I should be able to load the video. This could be for a mobile app. It's for anything, really. Okay, then I pause it. I'm going to let it play for a little bit more. It runs. It should have seeked forward. I don't think it did. We're going to wait to see if it receives a song state here. It doesn't. Let it run again here. Yeah, every time that it does that, it should be updating the song state. So we'll try this and see if we get this to pop up. Okay, I know nothing about programming, but was under the impression that certain platforms required separate languages. Oh, that is the case sometimes, but with web stuff, it's pretty universal. Hey, there it is requesting the song state. It should receive it from the other side. Receive song state request. Receive song state request here. Which is only passing over the connection ID. Alert received song state. Says receive song state. That's fine. Receive song state. Which then should be firing this one. So it should be working. Yeah, that worked. It wants it a second time, which is where it fails. Good, it keeps stopping it, which is what we want. So we'll go ahead and seek. Okay, it should pause here. When I unpause, it should now skip ahead. but it never hit the song state. It works when I unpause it, that's for sure. We'll let that run for just a little bit. Rob, I have checked, however, you make these playlists yet on YouTube? Yeah, there is one on there, but I need more. Yeah, it's not skipping ahead like it's supposed to. So I wonder if I can do a pause. Well, it's never receiving the song state. Let's try that. Okay. Good. It pauses it. And then I want to play it up here. So now it's loading it, it's seeking it, it's just never receiving the song state. So on my room hub, we have something here called a ReceiveSongState request. So let me look at that. We're going to say that this is called RequestSongState. Which is going to pass that connection ID. And then in your player, when you get the request, you're going to send this song state. And then receive song state with a song state request. That looks right. And then you send back a receive song state where you're appending song. And then you're doing that here. And it should load it and seek it and then play it. Let's try it again. Okay, now it's not working at all. So in my onConnected, I need to change this method here to be a RequestSongState. Oh, the back end wasn't running. Okay, we'll get it going here. We're going to go in the correct room. Sending song state. Good. It's sending it twice for some reason. Now it's just continuously sending it. So that's now invoking over here ReceiveSongState, which is a song state response request. Which is here, and then it's running play. The only thing is we want to do this to everybody except for the we're only sending it to the one client ID. That was weird. Why would I only be sending it to the one client ID? No, that makes sense. That's good. ReceiveSongState. And then it's saying sending song state again on your request submission. So where are you requesting song state? If it's not the owner of the room. I think this thing's, yeah, held up somewhere. Sending the song state here. Yeah. So then that means that on this side, I need to get rid of this now. Okay. Let's add up here a bool called a private is first load is a boolean. or we'll say has been loaded. And I want to say if it has been loaded, then we want to do this. And then we can do a has been loaded equals true. Because I only want to send it one time. Okay, good. I mean, that works great. It's now the other direction. Hey there, Zishan Tomboli. Welcome back. How are you today? Well, it's not skipping ahead. Really doesn't like me with this. Starting thing. Just going to send everybody to go play. So what about down here if we were to do this? We'll restart it. Reload it. Go to the room. It says no rooms. We'll go to the right room. It should start. It does there. Otherwise, you need to request where it's at. Which you can do by requesting your song state. And then in your YouTube component, this is where you're setting your player. So when you load a room, when you connect here and you get your room receive subscription, I can say if isn't it on your room service? Yeah. If this dot room service dot application user room dot is owner is not the case, then you want to do a this dot room hub service dot request song state for my this dot room hub service dot room dot ID. And that looks good. I'm pretty happy with this result now. Sending song state. Otherwise, we want to pause it and request the song state. Seems like maybe I have it in an indefinite loop now. Log in here. Log in again. Looks like the backend isn't running, or that it's stuck somewhere. And now if I request a song state, it should do that from the room. Good. And it never played it. Never did the response. I think it's okay. We'll just leave it like that. Okay, we have another alert box to remove in here. If I look at this, I don't care about this anymore. So if I go out and then go into my room, it should just load to the right spot, and it does. That's life is good. We can test my chat messages. Those are not currently working again. That's something we'll have to fix. But I'm pretty happy here. So now I need to test it at the end of the song to make sure that it loads the next song in the queue. So one thing I can do is here in my front end, where I have my player component, I am assigning this song name requested by and play value. So here underneath YouTube component, I'm going to add in here a couple of HTML parameters. And I don't need a form. So it's just going to be a song name. And then this is going to be a, and you're calling it song name. Okay. No validation on that. Okay, the next one is you have requested by. And that needs to be my requested by string. And then the last one is value. And that's going to be play value. And now we can do this as a emphasis. Emphasis. And then also as a emphasis. We'll change these to be bold. So now what I want to do is I want to add a song to the queue. So I'll look in here and I'll look for Miley Party and do a request song. And here it is. And I can request here 50 pixels on it, and we can add it to the queue. It's going to create a song queued here. And it did. You can see it populate here. Now it didn't send that across the pipe, so we need to make sure that that happens, that it updates when that happens. So when we create this song, we're going to do from my room hub, we have a receive song queue, which needs to go to the whole group. And we need to get a var application user room equals await my service dot get or read application user room asynchronous of my request dot application user room ID. And if my song queued is not equal to null and my application user room does not equal to null, then you want to do this to the group of my application user room dot room code. We'll run it again. So this way, if I leave and log out and then log back in, and I join the room here, it's going to play Miley Cyrus Party in the USA. If I join on this one, it'll just start at the right place. Didn't update these values, which is interesting. This is an RequestSongState request. This should have on it a couple of other things like this. And there's no song queue dot song, right? So it's the song state dot song name. And then when I look at my song state response subscription, it got the first value and then it errored on these ones because it doesn't have that stuff yet. And you do need to seek and load it to the proper place. Okay, that works. You can get rid of this. No, that's fine. Where is this being used? Hey. Okay, so that's working better. When we go into the room now, it's starting to play at the correct spot. If I pause it, it pauses. And it unpauses. That still doesn't take me to the right spot, but that's okay. It's like when I go to the page for the first time, it's not getting through this. It's just sitting here and erroring. Well, it does work when you enter the room now, so not like this. And we'll log out, we'll log back in. When I join the room, it starts right up. Good. And then in this one, when I join a room, and it changes the song, that needs to update across the pipe. So if I get rid of this one, now it works just fine. Yeah. So what that means is we need to add that back in here as a has been loaded as a boolean, and in my constructor I'm going to say has been loaded equals false. I'll put that in the init. And then right here, I want to say if this has been loaded, then we want to do this stuff. And I want to do has been loaded equals true. Now it's working. Working great. Now, one thing is when you're requesting your state here, this song state, this is an iSongState response. I also want to have here an application user, which is an iApplication user, and a wait, which is a number. So on the back end, we have this song state request, which I'm returning, which we have a song on it. We need to also have a application user DTO called a application user and a wait. And so now what we need to do is we need to do a var user equals await my service dot well, let me do this. I want to do a if my GUID dot try parse of my request dot if my request dot song queued ID does not equal to string is null or white space, then if this does not equal to GUID.empty, then what you want to do is a var song queued QUEUED equals await my service dot read song queued asynchronous by my request dot song queued ID, which means my request dot application user is going to be equal to my song queued dot application user, and my request dot wait is equal to my song queued dot wait. Else my request dot application user is going to be equal to my, and you want to do a var connection equals await my service dot read application user room connection by my context.connection ID. And then we want to get my application user room equals await my service dot read application user room asynchronous by my connection dot application user room dot ID. And then this is my application user room dot application user. And then my request dot weighted value is equal to 0. Like that. Which means that now I can do this. And when I run the back end, we'll need to do a log out and a log in since I reset the state. Okay, we're not in the right room. That's good. Now I pause it, and I pause it over here, and I rerun it, and it's good. Now we need to see what happens when we get to the other side here. So I should be able to do like a Miley Cyrus party in the USA. Hey there, friend from future. How are you doing? Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions what I'm working on, please don't hesitate to put them into the chat. I'll add this song here. Which is good. And here you can see it added on to both of them. .NET backend, not Node, feels bad, man. No, .NET backend is way stronger in my opinion. So we're good to go. Well, that's weird. I should start you right up. And then we can go ahead and add in something like Hell's Bells and request it. And then we can do like a 50 and we can add the song to the queue. We're good to go. One thing I want to do before I forget, which is when we in the hub get a new connection here, not this hub, in my room hub, when we get a new connection here, hard to share common data like interfaces between two languages. No, that's not correct at all. I use JSON and universal data constructs to go between things. And that's regardless of what app I'm working in. I try to keep my data structures universal. So here, when I'm doing the receive song next, I also want to do a new service here, which is await service dot start over playlists. So when I look at this, we want to add in here a new task called restart song playlist counts. And in this we want to pass a GUID application user ID. We want to add asynchronous to the end of that. And so here we want to do restart like that. And we want to pass in here my application user.id. And now when I look at my service, we need to add that in. And we can implement that at the bottom. And we can add this up with my song playlists as a virtual asynchronous task. And the only thing you're going to do here is using my var context equals a new application DB context. And in this, I'm going to do a var songs playlists are equals to my await services dot, I'm in my service, so await my context dot songs playlists dot include. Now let's do a playlists equals my playlists, and we want to include my songs in them. No, we don't. And I just want to do a where my s.applicationUserID is equal to applicationUserID. And then I do a to list asynchronous. So Canadian Swan says, not simply the same as importing a module, but okay. Well, let me give you an example. So if I set things up so that I'm passing data through WebAPI, and I could just scaffold that out using ASP.NET, then I can just hook that immediately up to a Swagger, which will parse through the back end of the code. And then within any other application, I can just import that Swagger and have either the HTTP client there, or I can import a .NET client that uses HTTP client and interacts with the Swagger. So I can make like a CLR class that will work for any application. Usually you can import those into other languages if you need to, and then invoke methods. This is plural, so we want to do a for each var playlist in playlists. I want to do my songs playlist are equal to my context.songs playlists dot where my s dot playlist ID is equal to playlist.id dot to list asynchronous, and then for each one of my song playlist in songs playlist, I want to do a song playlist dot count is equal to 0, and then I want to do a context dot entry of my song playlist dot state equals modified. And then when we're all done with that, we can say if my we want to await my context.save changes asynchronous. And that's it. So why don't I change this in my front end so that And then creating this, we'll say 1 instead of 2, or instead of 0, so that we get no autoplay or no hidden controls. Here we go, we can see Hell's Bells here, and I can skip ahead to almost the end, and it should skip ahead in this one as well, and it does. And then it ends, and it should load the next song. And it didn't, it loaded Hell's Bells again. Okay, so it's close. It's, when we get to the end of a song, it's not updating everything. So when I look here and I fire this event, which is on ended, we do my DQ next song, which fires in my hub, which we do as the group. We send receive play. Application user here is the next song dot application user. The song queued ID equals next song dot ID. The wait is equal to my next song dot wait to value. Now that should be enough information that should work correctly. Witty name, says Oh God Francis WTF. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. So we'll reconnect to the room. It should connect here to the correct channel, like that. We can skip ahead here to the end. It'll skip ahead on this one. And then when it finishes, we should see things update here. It's going to DQ my next song, which it didn't do a good job doing that. Okay, this time when I get my next song, it should be Mac Miller Self-Care. Which was requested by LiverDev Trying with no weighted value. And back in here, where I'm getting my receive play, I'm receiving my on song play request. Which needs to have on it the current time, which is a number, the application user, which is a application user, a weight, which is a number. So we'll try it again. And we'll log out, refresh our connection, log it back in. C# kind of looks like JS. Well, I'm using both. I'm using C# and TypeScript. Join the correct room. It should start. We can skip to the end of the video. It should update. It does. It goes to the next song. Still not updating. Which in this should be a receive play. Get song next. It's called song next received. Play response received. You have song next received, and then you have a receive play, play response received, get play response, which is in room service. Okay. I see duplication in here. See, I feel like these things need to get moved onto get song state response, get song next, and get play response. We got a little bit of duplication going on here. Got just a little bit of duplication, which I'm not happy about. So let me see what I can do about that. See, so now song state, song state response. You would expect this to do the same thing in the YouTube service, right? Am I tired of having to learn new technologies? No. I'm a programmer, so I sort of just do that. How do you like your current stack I'm working with? I'm happy. I like Angular a lot. So let's see here. I probably need to reload that. So one thing I'm noticing is I have some duplication. I have something here called the song state request, where I'm sending information about the song. I have something here called song state response, where I'm assigning things back to the component. But actually in my service itself, I need to collapse these and make it a little bit more straightforward. So I'm going to take a 12-minute break. When we come back, we're going to pick up right where we left off. If you haven't, make sure you join our Discord, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. And I'm still putting these videos up at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. I'm just a few videos behind, but a lot of them are up there and they need tags. So thanks for staying with me. I'll see you guys in just 12 minutes.